Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Wise Women Weekly, presented by Enlightened Networking, with me, Monty Patterson, coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio, and my beautiful, incredible co-host Robin Blake Muscari, coming to you from Bozeman, Montana. We come here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to bring you success tips from the softer side for the networking profession. And we have been every week coming to you guys and bringing you just incredible guests. And today is no different. We have the co-authors of the incredibly famous and popular book, The Flip Flop CEO. And we are so excited to have them here with us today. You know, we really, really, really love what we're doing here. So we want to make sure that when you're tuning in live, now that you're here, that you're making sure that you tell everyone that you are watching. Make sure you let them know that we are here providing them an incredible value where they're going to be able to hear from the best of the best in this profession, who will give you their success tips and tools on how they have been able to create incredible lives that they love in our networking profession. So, Robin, I will give it to you. What would you like to say to welcome everyone?
Oh, you are fabulous. Thank you. I love what you do there. So welcome, everyone. We really appreciate you taking time to be with us, and we really appreciate you being a professional in network marketing. And our love and passion is to help people be successful and design your life just the way you want. And we have the best contributors for that today. And I just want to share a quick story of how I did because several years ago, a friend of mine gave me a copy of their book, and I'd never heard of it. And I've heard of, I wouldn't say all the books in our profession at that time, but a lot of them, because I'm a curious one, I'm a voracious reader, and I love to consume things that support our profession, and I'd never seen this book. I read this book, and it's a really wonderful read, and it's really designed for people in the profession, but especially for people not in the profession to understand what it really is. And so I wanted to invite them to be on my program. I used to have an audio interview program, and I picked up the phone and I called and I spoke to Janine, and she happened to be in Montana at that time. Now, Janine and Lory live in Arizona. I was thrilled. We made arrangements. We got to meet. We fell in love with each other. And then I got to meet Lory too. And it just keeps getting better. So just a little bit about these two. Janine comes to us with a background in the corporate world in sales and marketing and business development. She's one of those people that didn't really embrace the profession very much, but she had a daughter, a young daughter, who wanted truly to have the dream lifestyle and wanted to have a family and wanted to have freedom and wanted to have unlimited income, and she really understood what network marketing was. So, you know, hats off to Lory, and hats off to Janine for being the wise mother to listen to her daughter, although I think she came kicking and screaming. And many years ago, they together, you know, wanted to share really what this business is about. So because there's so many misunderstandings of what this business model is. And my husband, I quote him often, says, once you fall in love with network marketing or direct sales, there is no known cure. And I think Janine has come over and fallen in love and is totally passionate, because sometimes the most skeptical people, when they do their research and understanding, they really get it. So this book, The Flip Flop CEO, is a major contribution to help people really understand. So I'm going to turn it over and have you guys start and talk about, you know, how did you really step in and decide to create this wonderful book? Who's starting?
Mm-hmm. I'll go ahead and start, since this whole kind of crazy scene started with me. So basically, right after I had graduated from college, I had just this vision of what my life was going to look like. I thought it was going to be full of freedom and flexibility and fun and money somehow. And I just really thought that I would enjoy all the days that I was working. And I quickly went from college to corporate overnight, and I literally started on a Monday morning and worked for a local TV station, and realized pretty instantly that I this is not at all what I had envisioned. So a couple years later and a few jobs later, I kept quitting different jobs because I just kept thinking, well, no, this isn't what I'm looking for. And I just really craved freedom and flexibility and financial independence. Those were essentially my priorities at the time. So I just had in my gut that there was something out there that existed, although I had never heard of anything, known of anything, but I was looking. And my sister actually brought it to my attention that this thing called network marketing existed, and she didn't want anything to do with it, but she wanted me to know about it because she knew that I was really miserable in corporate America. So she suggested that I take a look, and oh my gosh, I had no idea that this existed. So at maybe 24, I think I had just turned 24, I was in. I just knew this is brilliant. I had never heard of this, but my degree in college was in marketing, so I actually thought I was highly qualified for this thing. And and I went to my mom thinking she had never heard of it either. And she and I had always wanted to find something where we could work together, create something together, and we hadn't found it. And so when I found this, I thought, oh, this is our answer. We're going to do this together. And it was to my huge surprise that she had heard of network marketing, and she actually wanted nothing to do with it. So that was kind of a shock to my system because my mom had always been really my greatest supporter, my best friend, always my huge advocate in life. And when I brought something that I was so excited about to her and she wanted nothing to do with it, it was pretty devastating. And I just did not understand the misconception. I didn't understand what she didn't see when I saw it so clearly. So she and I really battled for a very long time. So I'll let her share her perspective of when I came to her with this idea.
Yes, actually I had heard of network marketing. Unfortunately, I was one of those people that about 30 years ago had an experience where I was invited over for dinner, and I arrived thinking I was the only guest, and when I got there were a bunch of cars parked out front. I walked inside, there were all kinds of people there. I felt like the door was immediately slammed shut, and the next thing I knew there was a screen coming down and circles were being drawn, and I was really upset. I feel like it was a bait and switch kind of situation, and it left me really not wanting anything to do with network marketing. And I would have sworn over my dead body that I would never, ever, ever be in network marketing. And fortunately, I saw the light, and I have gone from being the biggest skeptic to being the greatest cheerleader of this profession. It's just amazing. And I think there are a lot of other people like I was that are still kind of stuck with some kind of experience that they had, or they know someone that has had that same kind of experience. And a lot of people, myself included, I hadn't bothered to really update my beliefs, and I was just kind of stuck with that one experience. And so thankfully I saw the light.
Wow. Well, my dear, first of all, Lory, acknowledgement to you for your wisdom. You were very clear on what you wanted to create, and you didn't know how you were going to create it, and you found it, and it must have been, you said devastating, just horrible to not have it land so well and with the person you wanted it most to land with. And then, so many people have had an unfortunate, what I call less than stellar introduction to our profession that, stays with them for so long and creates that, kind of belief that shuts them off from what's really possible. So congratulations, Janine, for opening up and seeing the light, as you say, and seeing what it really is. So, Monty, over to you.
Thank you, Robin. I think it's so interesting that, Lory, you were so excited to share this with your mom, and then you were kind of like blindsided that she didn't find it as exciting as you did. And a lot of times in this profession, so many people are like that. They see it, they're excited about it, they want to go to tell their friends, their family, and then when they're not received as they hope to be received, then they get disappointed. And so since both of you have experienced this, firsthand, what might you say to someone, might be the best way when they're first getting started and they've got that zeal and that excitement? What would you say is the best way for them to begin sharing their business with other people?
I think it's got to come from the heart. I mean, I think I did come from the heart with my mom, but I also was coming from a place of trying to convince her. And I just think, if you can just drop all of your armor of trying to convince, someone to do this or hear you, or I just feel like it becomes this tug of war, this battle between those who get it and those who don't. And those who get it, do it. I mean, we know this. Those who really get this profession, do it because it is brilliant. But try to come from a place of, understanding where they're coming from. And I never heard my mom out when she said she had a bad experience. It just went in one ear and out the other, and I continued to convince her that my way was right, and she continued to try to convince me that her way was right. And so I think if you're just starting out, to just really own your own story, own why you're doing this, what your intentions are, as far as where do you want to go with this, and just share your story with people and connect with them on a deeper level, not just on the topic of network marketing or direct sales.
Love it.
Well, and I think also one of the things that I would see as being helpful is having third-party resources. One. And I think what happens is that people kind of get into this battle, and one of the reasons we wrote the book was to provide a resource that someone could give to people, because I think when you're brand new, you're faced with all of these challenges and all of these objections, and you're not in a place that you even know how to respond. And if you do respond, it becomes an argumentative kind of thing. So I think using a third-party resource to let that do the talking for you when you're brand new is really helpful as well.
So true. We teach that, a lot in this profession. Use the tools. And it's so awesome to be able to hear the both of you say that, because, when we see this happening, and what you said, shared, Lory, was really important, because, when you own your story and share from your heart, it's not a convincing thing. It's what we share here all the time on Wise Women Weekly. It's about making the connection and sharing. And if it's a good fit, great. And sometimes the fit is not a good one, but that's okay. But if you're sharing from your heart, then there's no reason to get, into that back and forth that you both are talking about. So I think that's really, really, really important. Robin?
Oh my goodness, the convincing thing. I think most beginners in this business model get I did it. I remember I was like evangelical, and I saw the light, so I figure everyone else should see it too. And I overdid it, and I blew people away, and I was not what Monty just said, and what Lory just said, through your wisdom from experience of, convincing doesn't work. And what I say to people is, amateurs try to convince, and professionals sift and sort. That old quote, what is it? Those convinced against their will are of the same mindset still. And, you said it so beautifully, Lory. It's just, you didn't take the time to hear her story. And, your mom had this experience, and that's really the shift in, building the relationships is, taking the time to listen. So that's really what we're here for. And providing a third-party tool. Love, love, love it. So here we are, and you created a third-party tool that I think is one of the finest tools out there, and I'll start out and show everybody. This is the book, and it's called The Flip-Flop CEO. It's time to get a life. And so why is it the best time now for people to get into our business model?
Well, I think for so many reasons. Oh my gosh, I feel like I think the younger generation is really not going to accept the things that we did in my generation. I think they expect to be able to have the freedom and the flexibility and still not have to compromise on the ability to make a significant income. I think there are so many people that are really looking for this. It's a solution that they're looking for, but they just don't see it because they're not going to look to network marketing to find the solution that they're seeking. So, gosh, for so many reasons. There's so many younger people that are going to college and ending up with all kinds of student loans that they have no way of really being able to pay back. I feel like we're kind of still following this map that is really broken. And so the timing for this kind of business model, I just think, is so perfect right now for what so many people are looking for.
Wonderful, wonderful. Want to comment on that, Lory?
Yeah, I mean, I just think you never know what's ahead. I mean, I know this so many times, actually, on a personal level, that I'm just so grateful that I did this when I first found out about it instead of waiting until I really needed it, because, you know, it is the reason we still had a house to live in during the recession, and my husband is in commercial real estate, so we were hit really hard. And then just last year, my son was born where he needed to be in the hospital for an extended period of time, and those kind of things you just can't see coming. And it's so good to prepare even when you don't think you're going to need it. And what a great time to start preparing when you really do have a job that you love. So whether, I always say this is not about quitting what you're doing currently, but it is preparing for the future. So it's creating kind of a bumper, if you will, for what could happen in the future. And meaning it doesn't have to be a negative thing that could happen in the future, but it's being prepared for anything. I mean, you know, a great opportunity to invest in something, you know, oh gosh, you need money to invest. Great. So it's good to be prepared. That's all I want to say about that.
Well, you guys, you just nailed it, and the book does such a beautiful job of all the different reasons why, and you know that it is a solution, like you said, Janine. It is a solution to so many people's challenges, you know, and why you went into it, Lory, so young, with wanting the freedom and flexibility and financial resources to develop a lifestyle. And you know, honestly, Lory, I'm envious. The fact that you got into this so young, I you know, when I look back, you know, here I am 60, and if I would have started in this profession when you did, oh my goodness, it's not good to look back, but I just want to say that and get it over with. It just shows your wisdom, and you know, in the world these days, there is nothing certain. So having a plan B and having, you know, multiple sources of income, and when things change, to know that, you know, you don't have to go through something really dramatic, that you're really taken care of. So there's so many reasons, and they're going to be different for different people, but supplemental income, and we're going to get into residual income in a little bit. But Mani, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I love the part where Lory shared her story, you know, because, you know, that was one of the actually the main reason why I came to this profession, because, you know, I happened to love what I was doing in corporate America, and, you know, and it was fine. But then, you know, when my husband got hurt on his job, and, you know, and then how we thought our savings would last us, you know, indefinitely, and all of those things run out very quickly, and you don't realize how hard you're going to get hit until you get hit, right? And so for me, that, you know, hearing that was one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to not just have the freedom and the flexibility. All of those were perks, but to be able to have that cushion for life's happenings, you know, whenever they happen, is so important. And, you know, which makes it, in my opinion, anytime, you know, a great time to start taking control of your life and building up these types of things with a profession like this one. Because I love how Robin shares, saying that this is a personal development program with a compensation plan attached to it, because we're always learning and we're always growing, you know, even with that. So yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that. So here's my question for you ladies. what do you think it takes to be a good network marketer? Like, do you think you have to be good at sales? And then part B to my question is, do you think that anybody can do it?
Yes, I don't think anyone is too good or not good enough for this business. I think whether we think we're not good enough or whether we think we're too good is all ego or lack of talking. But yes, I think anyone can do it, and I think it's exactly what you just quoted from Robin, which is it's a personal development journey. And if you're not willing to go on it, then maybe this isn't for you, because this is so not about sales. I feel like it's disguised as a company that is, it is a company moving a product or a service, but it is absolutely not sales. It is connection, it's listening, it's being willing to be wrong, it's being willing to grow and stretch, be uncomfortable, put your ego aside. There are a lot of requirements, I think, to be in this business, but none of which is skill that you have to have right up front. I think that can be learned. I think there are certain character traits that really aren't learned. So some maybe tend to do better because they just have a certain humility, a willingness to really get uncomfortable and be okay not looking perfect, because I don't think anyone has succeeded in this business that hasn't fallen totally flat on their face or looked crazy to some people. I know I've had my share of people thinking I'm crazy, and I'm okay with that because of the life that I get to have as a result. So, yeah.
I think that is a huge misconception, though, of most people, that you have to be a good salesperson. And I just say, when we recommend a great book that we've read or a movie that we've seen or a restaurant or a place to get your hair done, I mean, those are things that we do all the time. And that's what this business is about. No one is going to get into a company and represent something that they don't sincerely believe in. So we just get paid for something that we do all the time anyways. So I think that's a really, really big misconception that I would love to see go away, because it's just not the way it is.
I agree. I would love to see it go away too, because I heard, well, I'm not a good salesperson like you, Monty. And I'm like, I didn't know I was a salesperson. Because it is true. The same people that say that have absolutely 100% of the time shared something that they've loved and enjoyed, and we just happen to do it more consistently. And so that's really what it is. And so I love that. Robin, what's your take on that?
Well, I agree with everything you've said, and I think one of the misconceptions in our business model is if people have been successful in sales or the conventional business model and they come over, they can have a little bit of that chip on their shoulder, and what Lory was saying about, let go of your ego, because, this is a different animal. And to really be a student of this business model, because our success in the past is not going to translate unless we really understand that we're not here about being an expert in sales or doing things the way we used to do them. We've got to be humbled and start from scratch. And I know that's a big deal for a lot of people. So, the belief is really important, and the misconception. So it isn't sales. And last week we had Andrea Waltz, who wrote the book Go for No, and that's one of the big paradigm shifters for a lot of people. In order to be successful in life, it's, the people that are most successful hear no more often. So it's about learning to not take it personally and get our personal ego out of the way. And, Lory, you said it really beautifully, learning to connect with people and listen. Those few things can create a level of success that nothing else can. And so we're genuinely sharing, because that's what we do anyway, and especially from the softer side. And it's just our nature to do that. When we find something of value, we want to share it. So you guys, you're not guys, you're women. And there's a lot of challenges that show up in our profession. And, what are some of the main ones that you guys, women, come across? And, how do you respond to those when they show up?
Well, one thing that I think comes up a lot is people think they don't have enough time. And that just seems to always be an objection. And I think that's because of their perception about what doing this kind of business looks like. And I believe that this is such an easy business to fit into your life. You can, fit it into the spaces that you have. It can be a commute time business. It can be a virtual business. It basically, it doesn't take us extra time to tell somebody about a great book or a great movie. And that's what we do, and that's what this is. So I think that's one of the big ones, again, that people think they have to be good in sales, and we've talked about that. I think a lot of times people think they have to know a whole lot of people, too. And they really aren't thinking about the fact that, even if you know a few people, those people know people that you didn't know. So you've suddenly become introduced to their circle of influence. So those are some things that I think are common objections and misunderstandings right from the get-go.
Absolutely.
Go
ahead.
Sorry. Okay.
No,
I think one of the big ones that actually was the reason, I have personal experience with this one, and I see it all the time, is people get so attached to who it is that they want to do this business with. And as I said, my mom was my first one that I shared it with, and I just wanted her to get it so badly that luckily I didn't stop there. I could have, and I've seen a lot of people stop there. As soon as their main person, the person that they want to spend their hours with, their time, growing something with, and as soon as they say no, they're gone. And so luckily, I was more committed to this lifestyle than I was even having my mom come with me, because I really didn't know if she would ever come with me. It was a long journey with that. But I just see so many people really get attached to what it looks like and who it's going to be for them. And I think there's so much freedom when you can just commit to what it is that you want and not listen to people who aren't where you want to be. And so I just am a firm believer in really understanding the difference between commitment and attachment. And if you're struggling, if you're feeling like you're on an emotional roller coaster every day with this business, it's probably because you're attached to something. And when you let go of all attachments, you're now finally committed. And I really do think that's when the magic happens. So.
Oh,
that was good.
That was really good. There is such exquisite wisdom that comes through you, Lory. It's way, way, way beyond your years. And one of my great loves is to work with young people like you, because you guys are wiser. And that attachment piece is what gets us in trouble, not just in our business, but in life. And to know that, Darren Hardy, I talked about this early on. He created a wonderful program called Making the Shift, and you can get it on YouTube. It's the best piece I've ever come across for new people in our business. And he talks about the landmines, and that was it, Lory. You mentioned one of the main landmines, especially for new people. And you go to your favorite person and the person you most want to do business with, and you get shut down. And for most people, that's enough, and they're done. Mm-hmm. And, you had something deeper inside that made such a difference for you to get through that, and just because you knew what you wanted and you just kept going. And isn't it wonderful that your mom came around? The not enough time thing, and in a little bit I want to talk about leverage, because the wealthiest people in the world, the most successful people in the world understand leverage. And the average person doesn't have as many opportunities as people that have great wealth to leverage something like money. So leveraging time, leveraging resources, leveraging money, working through other people, so people don't, a lot of people don't understand that concept. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So on to you, Mani.
Okay, that was awesome, and so much of that I wish we would have more time to go back to. I was writing down, about when you were saying when your main person says no. I saw this literally last week. When someone said, I went to my friends and my closest three people, and they didn't love it, and so I can't do it. Had already bought into the business, had already paid for it, and as soon as those three people said no, it was over. It was like, okay, now to find something else. And I've noticed this perpetual, constantly searching for the thing that those people will say yes to, because there is an attachment to, if I'm going to be successful in a business, I have to do it with these people, and they have to be in alignment with what I'm doing. And sometimes, it doesn't look like we want it to look. Sometimes it's different people. Sometimes it's new. Sometimes it's expansion. And so when you were talking about, if I could just kind of interject a question and then I'll ask one, we were talking about attachment versus commitment. How do you unattach, if that's even a word, in order to be able to get to that place of commitment?
Such a good question. And I think the clearer you get on why you're doing what you're doing, it does not matter who's coming with you, because you are on a mission. And I really do think that is, so it's not even like I knew at the time. I didn't have any words to put toward what was happening with me, with my mom, and then not worrying that my mom was not coming with me and still going anyway. And it's not like I was super successful and that made her want to come with me. So, I don't want that myth to be out there. I was not uber successful and my mom just couldn't help herself but join. But I had this knowingness, this conviction of a life that I had always dreamed of. And that was we always talk about why, the importance of your why. Be so crystal clear on why you're doing this. And the deeper and clearer you can get on that, all else begins to kind of fade away. Like, who is saying yes or no to you? It's like, okay, fine. I still got to keep going because this is big. And this thing that I'm going toward is bigger than any why not. So.
Yeah, love it. Thank you for that. Okay, so on that note, ladies, why do you think there's such a huge dropout ratio in the business?
I think this is a business that it's really easy to get in and it's really, really easy to get out. I think one of the other things that happens a lot is that people treat network marketing like they just bought a lottery ticket. They treat it as if it's a gamble and they could either make it or not make it, and as if it's up to something else, to luck or whatever people believe in when they buy a lottery ticket. So it's really that they aren't really treating it like a business and making that same commitment that they would if they had started their own business or they started a job. They don't treat it seriously. They treat it more like a hobby. And I think it's that lack of real belief and commitment that causes that to happen a lot.
Yeah. Lory?
Attachment. Yeah, I think people quit too soon because it's not looking the way they thought it was supposed to, and the people that they thought were going to do it. You got to let that go right in the beginning. You really do have to be willing to blaze a trail for the people you know, because you have no idea who's going to get it, and it's most likely not going to be the people you thought were going to get it will get it. So, I guess the best thing you could do is not quit, because my first year did not look pretty. It was not pretty. I floundered. It looked horrible. It looked like a lot of fighting. It looked like a lot of defending, trying to convince. I wasn't going anywhere. But the best thing I did was not quit. And I really do think your friends are watching you. So it's not about asking them if they'll do it with you. It's about showing them what you're doing with or without them. And whether you're successful or not in that time, but they're watching you anyway. And I guarantee you, if you still look like you know where you're going, even though it doesn't look pretty sometimes, they're gonna pay attention to that. I know that they're watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Robin?
Oh, well, I'm going to start out with what you just said, Lory, and it is really, really true because people are watching us, whether we're clear or not. And what's most powerful is, when you're living the life like you're living, Lory, at your young age and having the freedom and flexibility to attend to what's most important, and the financial challenging times with your husband being in commercial real estate and dealing with, Lincoln and getting to be present. People are watching, but in the early stages it's tough. And a lot of people aren't willing to do the deeper work, like you talked about earlier, Lory, the personal development work, because whatever is up for us, it will show up in this business, and not everyone has the courage to do that. And what you said, Janine, I think is really, really true. Because of the low point of entry, you can get in this business model with no glass ceiling whatsoever. Literally, for $30, $35, $100, you can buy the bigger package for hundreds or even 1,000. That's nothing compared to what's possible. So people don't take it seriously and treat it like a business. And I think we've heard the line before, if we treat it like a business, the rewards are unlimited. If we treat it like a hobby, it becomes an expense. So really becoming a student of the business and treating it like a business can make a huge, huge difference. And so here, as women, the vast majority of people in our business model are women. It's over 80%. And many of the companies are owned and operated by men, and many of the big leaders out there in the field, the big money earners, are men. And one of the reasons Monty and I wanted to create this from the softer side is to really give resources and support for people coming from the softer side, because this is a game changer. This allows us to have the life we've always wanted. So why is this a great business model for women?
I'll go.
Okay, no, go ahead, Loris.
Well, I've got my baby monitor right here. And, he must know I'm doing something important because he's screaming at me. But I just think this is amazing for women because we view success so differently from men, and it's not better or worse, good or bad. It just is different. And I'm reading Think and Grow Rich for Women by Sharon Lechter right now, and it is just so true when she talks about the difference between, for us, it's not just success, it's significance. And that is just a huge word for me. Would I rather live a significant life or a successful life? And the good news, we don't have to choose. We don't have to, it's not either or. But for me, a successful life is a significant life. And vice versa, a significant life for me would be a success. I mean, that is who I am as a mom. I mean, that who I am as a daughter, a wife, a friend. All of these things are just different for women. And so I put my baby monitor up here because I don't know where else I could be on a business call and know that oh my gosh, I can also make sure my baby is nice and safe as he's taking a nap or not. So there's just a difference between men and women and what we need to kind of work our life around, really, our family.
Great. Thank you.
Well, and I think it's just who we are. I mean, I think women are naturally nurturers, and we like helping people. I think women today really do want it all. They want to be able to make a significant income, and they want to be able to have that baby monitor and be attending to the things that are most important and be able to prioritize their lives. And it's just, I think everything about who we are fits so perfectly with this business, and it's all possible with this business, which is what is so cool.
Love it. Love it. It really is our nature, like you said, Janine. that we naturally share. And Moni talked about it earlier, and you guys talked about it earlier, that when something is of value, we want to share it, and this is a way we get compensated. And as women, we have many, many more roles typically than men in life, and this is a way that we can weave it in and give our best and grow and attend to those things that are really of highest value. And I loved that the book Think and Grow Rich for Women came up, because Janine is mentioned in that book, and Sharon's a friend of hers, and she lives out there close by in Arizona, and she will be one of our guests. And if you haven't read the book yet, Moni and I are in the middle of reading it because she's going to be on our show really soon. So we really support you, because she didn't want to do a book for women, but realized that there's enough differences that she could take the principles from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich and make the adjustments and edits, because there's a different perspective that we come through and how we really do define success. Moni, what do you have to say about all that?
I think it's so true. I think, everything that you said is so true. I have always said that for women, I think that this is the most natural business in the world, because, if something's on sale at the grocery store, I'm immediately calling mom, I'm calling my friends and saying, guess what? Such and such is on sale, hurry up. And there would be times we would meet at the store just to go and purchase for them. They never sent me a check for it. And we do that all the time. If we found a new restaurant, if we loved a movie, we are immediately calling, oh my God, you have to go and see such and such. And it's nothing weird about it. It's just what it is. We're just sharing what we love, and we do that more naturally than I think anybody does, as women. And so, it might sound like I'm a little biased as a woman, but I just think it's so true. It's just what we do. We immediately, even when we go and are looking at something, we'll go and look it up. We might verify the validity of it, but once we've done that, the first thing that we're doing is calling our girlfriend or saying, hey, did you see such and such? You got to check this out. It's just what we do. So I just see network marketing and this profession as the most natural fit for women, period. So that's my take on it. I won't say as opposed to men, but I will say that as a woman, I just have seen it be the most natural fit, as a woman, because it's just what we do. So,
Moni, before you go to the next question, I just want to say one more thing, because I know a lot of our audience are men, and we really appreciate you. This program is for everybody, and to realize that the majority of people in your business are women, and to really understand how to work with women, it's a little bit different. So I want to applaud and thank you for being so open and willing, all you wise guys out there, because I know there's a lot of you, and you really are wise to learn and understand why this business model is such a wonderful gift for women, and to be showing up at these programs. So I just wanted to add that little piece, Moni, before we moved on.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, ladies, this is our last question before we get to, what you are doing, okay? What do you think, in your opinion, are the best and worst aspects of this profession?
Lory, do you want me to go?
Sure, and I'll go right after.
I think, oh my gosh, one of the things that I love the very most is that you get to choose who you work with. And the fact that Lory and I get to work together, it's going to make me get choked up, which I do often. But just the blessing of being able to spend days with people that you love. I mean, I think about my life before network marketing, and I would have to wait for the weekends to be able to be with my family. And the fact that we have been able to go through this journey together has just been such an incredible blessing. The fact that I've been able to be there for the birth of all of my grandsons, and those are things that you just can't do in corporate America. So being able to work with the people that you love is really such a blessing. And I think the fact that you can do this business from anywhere is absolutely amazing too. One of the things that's been kind of really important to us since day one is to have the ability to, we live in Arizona, and it's hot in Arizona in the summer, and we wanted to be able to get out of Arizona and have it not affect our business. And just the ability to earn the kind of income that we do and be able to do our job from wherever we are, wherever we want to live. You know, it's like even in Bozeman, where you are, Robin, I think, you know, people live there because they love the quality of life of a small town. And usually the challenge with that is that you can't command the same kind of salaries that you do in other, you know, larger cities. But this is a business that you can have it all. You can have that small town, the quality of living in that kind of a situation, but still be able to make the same kind of income that you can in, you know, in a big city. And being able to do it on your own schedule, just as Lory said, with her baby monitor, being able to, you know, just plan your work around your life instead of your life around your work is a huge, huge benefit. And worst, I would just say that, you know, the challenge with network marketing to me is that it's so misunderstood still. And again, that's why we wrote the book. We really feel like it's time for a paradigm shift and to change the way our society looks at our business.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So for me, I would say freedom. That's number one. I mean, and that you can have freedom and money. I mean, most people think they are mutually exclusive. So to know that you can actually make a significant income and enjoy time freedom is just crazy in most people's mind. I mean, that just is too good to be true. And it's not. I mean, it's right here. We're all talking about it. So to me, the worst part is we're not keeping it a secret. We're sharing it with the world, and yet the world is still just resisting for some reason. And I know it's that darn stigma from all these years ago, but it also, we're coming up against people's limiting beliefs. I mean, we're challenging the status quo. We're challenging what people have been raised to believe. So, of course, it's going to stir things up. And I kind of like to rock the boat. I love having kind of provocative conversations, somewhat controversial, whatever. I like that. And the worst part for me is just really feeling misunderstood by a lot of people. Because the second you say what you do, people are like, oh, okay, well, gosh, I got to run. So... And that I just think is funny. I mean, really, I didn't even say anything to you. I didn't, you know, whatever. It's just funny. So I guess I would say that's the worst part, because it's while it is funny and I can laugh at it, it's hard to just always be misunderstood. So I guess the beauty in all of that is there's an opportunity to really shine some light on that subject for people and blow through the limiting beliefs that they might have.
Wow. Money.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You know, and you know, you're right. Both of you are right. You know, we've all experienced it, but again, I think that's why it's personal development, because you know, you don't grow when it's with just the sunshine. You know, sometimes it takes the rain and all of that, but it's really about being consistent and not quitting. And like you've been sharing so eloquently about having your vision and being crystal clear about what it is that you want to do. Now, this is a beautiful space about, you know, really being able to make a difference. And, you know, so many times, you know, people that enter into this industry, they want to make a big difference. You know, why do you think this is the perfect place to be able to make a difference in someone's life?
I can't imagine any other way, anything else that you could do that you would really be able to give the gift to someone else. I mean, if I were an attorney and I got paid a really great income because I was a great attorney, I could talk to my friends and I would never be able to really help them be able to make the same kind of income that I could. But this is something that we can truly give away. So, it is, I think about all the times that I used to spend talking to my girlfriends about situations that could have been made better if they'd been able to have more freedom financially, maybe being in a relationship that they needed to walk away from or whatever. And before I've always just listened without really being able to offer any kind of solution. And what I love is that this is a gift that we get to give away to others. And that's just a huge way to be able to make a difference in a lot of people's lives.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. What could you add to that, Lory? That was beautiful.
I don't think I can add anything. Yeah, Mom,
No,
that was good.
yeah.
No, I just want to add to that absolutely, I think that is the essence of it. I mean, this isn't like we've just been given this awesome gift that we're flaunting, like, look at this huge life that I now get to live that has been in my dreams, but sorry for you, I can't give that to you. We can. I mean, that is, I think my mom nailed it. It's a gift that we've been given that now there's unlimited quantities of that gift that you can give out to other people. So no one can look at you and just feel like, that's not fair. It's totally fair. I deserve more and you deserve more. And you just have to believe it.
Wow. Wow. That was awesome. Amazing. Ladies, tell us, well, first, before I do that, because I'm getting anxious, because I'm getting excited to see what you guys have to offer. Robin, what do you want to add to that?
Oh, I love you guys. And I'm so honored and blessed that you're sharing your message so beautifully, because part of my work in the world is to up-level the perception of this profession. And you guys wrote the book that does that so, so beautifully. And Janine, when you talked about, you get to work with who you want, and I really believe that quality of life is reflected in quality of relationships. And one of the first things I do with people when they're new is I say, write a list of the qualities and characteristics of who you want on your team. And, everything from professional and coachable and all those things. But I say the bottom line thing is when you look at the caller ID, are you excited to pick up the phone? And so, it really is quality of life, and what we have available is to affect people being able to live their lives in alignment with their values, whatever their values may be. And many times people have never stopped to look at that. We have the 1099 and W-2 mentalities, and it's a different wiring to take total responsibility for your life that we have available. And I'm in total agreement about, the worst part is the misperception. So having models like you two out there and having the book that it tells so many different people's stories, and I do want to ask a little bit about that before we get into sharing how people can find you and access the information and share with their teams, is, you've interviewed so many different people in your books. And heard so many stories. So I just want to throw a question to both of you ladies of, can you think of a story that has really inspired you that just like, yep, this is what it's about? Has anything come to the top of your head?
The one story that I feel that way about, I mean, gosh, and there's so many stories that are so amazing. And the best thing about getting to know these other women is just the caliber of women that are attracted to this business. I mean, you really find out, because I think a lot of times we're in our own company and we know the people in our company, but we don't know people in other companies. And oh my gosh, there's just such a common denominator of people being just really amazing, caring, wonderful people. But one story that I really love in the book is a doctor, Dr. Stacy Bean, and she was an emergency room doctor, and her husband was a doctor as well, and he went on a trip to donate his time and was gone over the weekend, and basically he was coming home in a helicopter that crashed, and he passed away. And their lives just changed instantly. And just the things that she shares is someone who is kind of following the map of what our society thinks success looks like, and then having all of that kind of come crashing down, and realizing that she's now in a business that allows her to be with her kids when they really needed her, when they were all going through this tragedy. And so anyways, it's just a really cool story, but there are so many cool stories.
A book is filled with stories. That's one of the things I just loved reading the stories of different people because everyone's situation is different. Lory, do you have any particular story you want to share?
You know, Pam Barnum's kind of sticks out to me just, and I don't know if this was in personal conversation or actually written in her story, but I just remember she was a busy, successful, powerful woman with a son, and I think had a nanny. And I think it was just one day she realized that she woke up and said, "Oh my gosh, I want my nanny's job. I want my nanny. I want to be my nanny," basically, because she gets to be with my son. And it just was a huge aha that that some people think, no, it's nice to have a nanny and go, but I think it's nice to have a choice. And the fact that Pam now has both success and she is living her nanny life because she is totally with her son. She's in love with her son, and I think that's amazing because they've built such a family bond because of this business, because she's gotten to really spend a lot of time with him and her husband together as a family. So her story just stuck out to me because, again, as women, we feel like we typically have to choose either success or significance as a mom, and I totally don't see it that way. And luckily, I joined a business before I was even a mom, so it's not like I ever had that struggle of success or being at home. But I've really seen it from the side of, wow, you don't have to choose. You absolutely do not have to choose between the two. You can have both. So I love her story.
Those are so beautiful, both of those stories, and it really is endless. So hearing people's stories of how this business model allows people to truly live a life in alignment with what's most important. And, you know, family is, for most people, like top of the list. And we go back to those big whys all the time, and it goes there. So, Mani, back to you.
I loved both of those stories, and I think that's the beauty of this profession. We get to experience all of these things, you know, to see, triumph over tragedy. But what I love most is what you just said as well, Lory, when you just said, you know, what you love is the choice. And that's really what it's all about. It's about the freedom, but it's also about the choice. It's about not feeling like you have to be placed in that one box, but you can choose to design your life. And so, ladies, both of you were incredible. It was my honor to be here and to co-host with Robin and to meet you and to just, wow, to be able to be here and experience this. And that's what I love about this profession too, is we get to actually meet heart to heart and exchange and to learn and to grow from each other. So thank you so much for that. Now, also, we want to make sure that we tell everyone how to find you and how to get in touch with you.
So, gosh, to get in touch with us, we would love to have people become a part of our community, our tribe on Facebook. So it is the Flip Flop CEO, so you got to remember that the before. And for people that want to find the book is available on Amazon, Kindle version as well as the hard copy, and on our website we offer discounts. So if people are using the book to inform their friends about what they're doing, we do offer discounts. And again, that's theflipflopceo.com. And we just finished an audio version of the book. That's available now on Audible. And what I love about that too is we have all the people in the middle of the book, the stories, the Flip Flop CEO stories, the people read their own story. So
nice.
I loved that part of it. So yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Lory, did you want to say any final comments here?
No, we just absolutely love to connect on Facebook. That's our favorite place to just really come together as a tribe. I mean, we really are one big team of network marketing. So, and it's completely neutral because we all stand for the same team of network marketing. So it's a safe place for all of us to really dance together and be part of one big team.
Well, thank you so much. And it sounds like we need to merge Wise Women Weekly with Flip Flop CEO on Facebook groups, because it's really it's the same tribe, and we get stronger when we're together. So we want to really give our heartfelt thank you to both of you for who you be, what you stand for, the huge contribution you're making in our profession, and taking the time to be with us today to share your wisdom, share your stories, and share your wonderful gifts. And how cool is it that it's a mother-daughter team? That's so beautiful. And how many people out there would love to be able to have that kind of relationship with their mother or their daughter? Beautiful. So, Monty, you want to close it out?
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode of Wise Women Weekly, where we brought to you the fabulous Lory and Janine, the Flip Flop CEO. Make sure you connect with them and be sure you get to their Facebook group. It is a safe place, and as you all know, we're all about safe places. We are all on the same team of this networking profession. We will come to you again next Thursday, again at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, again with another really great show with great content. Ladies, again, you are beautiful. We loved everything that you had to share. Thank you again for your presence here and on this episode and on this platform. We really, really appreciate it. And for those of you who have not joined us yet, make sure that you find Wise Women Weekly, presented by Enlightened Networking, on Facebook. We'd love to have you join us. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on, and you'll be able to tune in live each and every time here. So we'll see you again next week right here on wisewomenweekly.com. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.